Right. Okay. So in the last class, we discussed about the backups, different types of backups. Okay. What is the use of each backup and how to take the backups? Okay. Different ways of taking the backups. Okay. All these things we discussed, right? So in today's session, we'll discuss about the restores. Okay. Restoring a database. Okay. So before discussing this restores, okay, let's discuss about one more important topic called recovery models. Okay, recovery models. Let's discuss one more important called recovery models. So, what is this recovery model? How many types of recovery models are there? What is the importance of the recovery model? How to check the recovery model? How to change the recovery model? What will happen once you change the recovery model? Okay, so all these things we'll discuss. Then we'll jump into the restores concept. Okay, right. So recovery model is nothing but changing the behavior of the log file. Okay, what is recovery model, guys? Changing the behavior of the log file is called recovery model. First of all, what is the behavior of the log file? Changing the behavior of the log file is called recovery model. Okay. So what is the behavior of the log file, guys? What log file will do generally? We want to change the behavior of the log file using recovery model. First of all, what is the behavior of the log file? What log file will do?
A transaction,
What transactions, Abhi?
transaction of data, collection of data.
It captures the changed information.
Only change information.
Hmm.
Only change information.
As per my understanding, it will capture only the undo information and redo information.
Yeah, that is the main purpose of the log file. Right? Okay, so that's fine. But what it will do? Right. So when you create a database, we will get two files, right? One is data file. Second one is log file. So I'm not sure how many of you remember this point. Data file is a kind of a disk. Okay. Data file is a kind of a disk. I mean to say I'll compare data file with a disk. Disk means ROM, read-only memory. Okay. So I'll compare data file with the disk. Why? Because we can save the data in the data file permanently. Out of these two files, one file is data file, one file is log file. So data file will be used to store the data permanently. Then what about log file? Log file is a kind of RAM. Data file is a kind of ROM. Log file is a kind of RAM. So in the RAM, can we store the RAM permanently? Can we store the data permanently in the RAM? Sorry. Can we store the data in the RAM permanently?
No.
No, not possible. Okay, that is a temporary area. Every time RAM will be cleared. RAM is a reusable area. RAM is a reusable area. Okay, until the data processing is there, it will take the help of the RAM. Once the data processing is completed, the data will be moved to the data file permanently. So RAM is a temporary area. In the same way, out of these two files, data file and log file, data file we can store the data permanently, whereas in the log file is a reusable file. Log file is a reusable file. Whatever transactions that are coming from any application, what is the entry point, guys? For every transaction, which file is the entry point in the database? For every transaction, which file is the entry point? Your
Log
log
file.
file. Your
Log
log
file.
file is the entry point. Log file will follow a concept called WAL. Okay. WAL concept. What is WAL concept? Write ahead logging. Okay. Log file will follow WAL concept. What is WAL? Write ahead logging. What is write ahead logging? It is going to write everything to the log file initially. Whatever transactions are coming from the application, so all the transactions, the entry point is like a log file is a main door of our house. If anyone is coming, they have to come from the main door only, right? Then they can go to other rooms. In the same way, if house is a database, okay, the entry gate is your log file. Other rooms are kind of other data files. Okay, so here, whatever transactions are coming, they have to come through log file only. So first the transactions will come through the log file into the database. Okay. Then I told you, right, log file is a reusable file. So based on the commit, transactions will have two states, commit and uncommitted transactions, committed transactions and uncommitted transactions. If the transaction is committed, then that particular data will be moved to the data file. Once the data is moved to the data file, last time we discussed, right, backups. Someone asked, Shanmukh, once I restored the backups, do we need to store that backups or we can delete? We can delete the backups. Once you successfully restore, you can delete the backups. There is no use. Space is going to waste. So the same space you can use for other purpose. In the same way, once the data is committed, the committed data will go to the data file. Okay. The same transaction that is there in the log file will be truncated. Okay. The same transaction that is there in the log file will be truncated. So in that way, log file will reuse its space, guys. That is how log file will manage the space. So whatever transactions are coming from the application, first transactions will go to the log file. Every transaction will have two states. Committed transaction. Please be muted. Amarendra. Amarendra. Just muted you, Amarendra. Okay, fine. So every transaction, first it will goes to log file. So every transaction will have two states. Either it is a committed transaction or uncommitted transaction. If it is a committed transaction, then the particular whatever data is there in the transaction, the data will be moved to the data file. Once the transaction is committed, means permanently written to the data file, then the same transaction will be truncated from the log file. So in that way, log file is going to reuse the space. Okay. So in this behavior, you can, this is the original behavior. Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, Shanmukh.
Okay, done. So Shanwar, please check your audio once or rejoin. Please rejoin. Right. Okay. So this is the actual behavior of the log file. Log file will write each and everything. Log file will write each and everything to that particular about the transaction in the log file, guys. Log file will write each and everything about the transaction, right? So this is the actual behavior of the log file. You can control this behavior by using the recovery models. You can control this behavior by using the recovery models. So you know, right, fan regulator. What we can do using regulator, fan regulator? What we can do? If you put it
We
in
can
one
control the speed.
speed of the that one fan, right? If you put it in
Yes.
one, it will be slow, then two, somewhat fast, three, somewhat fast, four, fast, and five, very fast. So if you change the modes, automatically the speed will be increased or decreased, right? So recovery model is also kind of same. That is a kind of a control where we can control the log file behavior, guys. So we have three modes. Okay, like in the fan regulator, how we have 5 modes. In the recovery models, we have 3 modes. Okay, so those are called recovery models. Okay, 3 recovery models are there. Pakka interview question, important interview question, guys. Pakka. So 3 recovery models. What are those 3 recovery models? Full recovery model, bulk log recovery model, and a simple recovery model. Okay, there are 3 modes or 3 recovery models: full, bulk logged, and simple recovery model. Okay, full recovery model, bulk log recovery model, and simple recovery model. Right. So where we can see the recovery model, I will show you first. Okay, you'll get an idea. So this is my SQL Server, right? Let's connect to the SQL Server. Every database will have this option, guys. So every database will have this option, recovery model. Okay. So you can change the recovery model. Okay, whenever you want, you can change the recovery model. But first of all, you should know what is the what each recovery model will do, right? So let's discuss what each recovery model will do. So I guess SQL Server is stop. Let me start it. Right. Okay. So if you go to databases, right click, properties. Okay. If you check the options, here you can see recovery model full. Okay, so if you click on this, you can see 3 recovery models: full, bulk log, simple recovery model. If you want to change the recovery model, you can just select any of the recovery model and you can click OK. And command is alter database name. What is the command, guys? Alter database name. I guess set recovery simple or bulk logged or full. Okay, you can use that command. Right. So let me show you the command also. Right. Okay. So in full recovery model, how the database will behave. In simple recovery model, how the database will behave. And in bulk logged recovery model, how the database will behave. Okay, set recovery bulk logged. Okay. So this is the command that we can use to change the recovery model, guys. Or else you can use GUI also. So in full recovery model, okay, what it will do, guys? Generally, by default, what is the default recovery model of the database? Default recovery model. Okay, what is
Is
the
it
default recovery model of each database? Full. User databases, especially user databases, default recovery model of user databases. Okay, of user databases. Default recovery model of user databases. So that is a full recovery model. In the full recovery model, listen carefully. In the full recovery model, they will ask you how many types of recovery models, and they will ask you to explain each recovery model. So in the full recovery model, all the transactions are fully logged. Fully logged means it will write the complete transaction. Not only complete, for example, there is a transaction, insert into employee values, okay, 1 comma something like Peter, comma something from UK, okay, right. So this is one transaction, right? So this is one transaction. What SQL Server will do when you run this command, okay, on that particular database, SQL Server will write this data. This is called command. Apart from this data, SQL Server will also track 108 properties of each transaction. 108 properties of each transaction. We can call it as a 108 attributes. So when you run this transaction, don't think only this transaction will be written to the log file. Apart from this transaction, it will also write 108 attributes about this transaction. Like what and all the attributes, guys? It will write the database name, okay, object name, which is table name, page ID, okay, and LSN number. Each transaction will have its own LSN number. Previous LSN, current LSN, okay, right. Date, at what date it came into the log file, time, at what time it came into the log file. Everything will be tracked about this transaction. So along with this, it will also track all these details, guys, and it will store it in the log file. For one transaction like this, these are some samples, guys. These are just some samples. Like this, it will track 108 attributes. This is one attribute. This is second attribute, third attribute, fourth attribute, fifth attribute. Like that, it will track 108 attributes. For every transaction, it will track 108 attributes. If you are inserting 100 transactions, 100 into 108 values, it will store, which is 100 into 108. How much, guys?
10,800.
So if you are inserting 100 records, it will store 10,800 values in the log file. So that's why log file growth will be very huge. Why? Because everything it will write. Everything about the transaction it will write. When it came, how it came, on which database it was executed, on which object it was executed. Everything it will store, guys. When the database is in full recovery model. That's why I said all the transactions are fully logged. Fully logged means what? Writing the complete details about the transaction is called fully logged. Okay. Now, when the transaction is committed, only these three values will go to data file, guys. Are you getting my point? When the transaction is committed, only the data in the log file, it will store the transactions. But in the data file, it will store only the data. So when this transaction is committed, it will move these three values to the data file permanently. Means in the data file, it will store only this data. But whereas in the log file, it will store the complete data. Once this data is permanently moved to the data file, so all the details will be truncated from the log file. In this way, the log file will be reusable. In this way, the log file will be reusable. So this is how the log file will work, guys. This is how the log file will work. So once the transactions are committed, automatically the committed transactions will be truncated from the log file. Once the data is truncated from the log file, you can use the same space or storage for other purpose, like for other transactions and all. So when the database is in full recovery model, it will behave like this. Like this means it will be fully logged. All the transactions will be fully logged and it will store all the details like 108 attributes of each transaction it will store. Okay. And in the full recovery model, all the backups are possible. All the backups are possible. I just forgot to add one assignment yesterday actually. I have to take full differential and log backup on the system databases. Okay. So that is the assignment, guys. Take full differential and log backup. Create one Excel sheet like this. Create one Excel sheet. Okay. So what it should contain? Master. Okay. Database name, DB name, type of backup. Okay. So master, full backup is possible or not? If possible, yes. Differential backup is possible or not? If possible, yes. Log backup is possible or not? If possible, yes. Same as model, same as MSDB, then this TempDB. Then here resource DB. Okay, so try to fill this table, guys, by today evening. Okay, very simple. Just we can just write queries, backup database name, master to disk is equal to, no need to give any path. Okay, default path it will take master underscore today's date dot dak. Like that, replace master with model, MSDB, TempDB, and resource DB. Okay, so if full backup is possible on master, just type yes. If differential backup is possible, type yes. If log backup is possible, yes. If not possible, type no. Okay, so like this, I need a table, guys. Okay, by today evening. Fine. So this is the one more assignment I have to add, but I forgot to add this assignment yesterday. Okay, right. So in the full recovery model, all the backups are possible. If the database is in full recovery model, you can take full backup, differential backup, log backup, and all the backups are possible. If all the backups are possible, means point in time recovery is possible. Why? Because how we can achieve point in time recovery, guys? How we can achieve point in time recovery? Using full differential log and tail log backup, right? If all the backups are possible, point in time recovery is also possible, right? There is no data loss. If the database is in full recovery model, there is no data loss. Okay. So on the production servers, all the databases or most of the databases, okay, the recovery model will be full only. So sometimes in the interview, they will ask you guys, what is the recovery model of your production databases? Okay, what should be the recovery model, guys, for production databases? So we have to prefer no data loss, right? So in the full recovery model, there will be no data loss. So production servers, there will be no data loss, right? How we can achieve that? Using our full recovery model. So 99.99% the production databases will be in full recovery model. Why it will be in full recovery model, guys? In full recovery model, it will log each and everything to the log file. It will write the transactions and 108 attributes about the transactions to the log file. All the backups are possible in the full recovery model. So if all the backups are possible, I can achieve point in time recovery. So there will be no data loss in the full recovery model, guys. These are the main points about the full recovery model. Okay, right. Now let's come to the bulk logged recovery model. Okay, bulk logged recovery model. So in this bulk log recovery model, okay, it's very easy to understand, but again, interviewers will confuse you, okay, by asking some different questions in a different way. Listen carefully. Bulk logged recovery model, okay, is also like a full recovery model. It's also like a full recovery model. Then Shanmugh, there should be a difference, right? Why we have bulk log recovery model? I'll tell you. Bulk logged, please be muted. Someone just joined, I guess. Gorimapa. Yeah, just muted you in case of any questions you can ask. Right. So in the bulk logged recovery model, listen carefully. It is also like full recovery model. Bulk logged. Log means writing, guys. Very simple. What is the meaning of log? L-O-G, log. Logging means writing, guys. Writing everything to the log file is called logging. Log file. The name itself is saying log file. Means it will write everything to the log file. That's why it is called, if you go to library, you can see a log book, right? If you go to any apartment as a visitor, you can see a logbook, right? So that they are going to write your name, your phone number, your address, whatever it is possible, they are going to collect more as much as they can, right? When you visited a library, for example, if you go to library, like you have a subscription there in the library, public library, so they will take your name, okay, and they will take your mobile number, email ID, number of books you owned, number of books you returned, any fines are there on you, they are going to write each and everything, right? Right, so that if something goes wrong, they can recover from you, right? So that's why logbook, which will help you to recover. Okay, logbook means which will help you to recover. So in the same way, in the bulk logged recovery model, bulk logged, there is an operation called bulk operations. Bulk operations means like huge operations. Huge operations. So now tell me, guys, for one transaction itself, it is logging 108 properties, right? Imagine I'm inserting 1 million transactions. 1 million means how much? 10 lakh transactions. Imagine I'm inserting 10 lakh transactions. 10 lakh into 108 properties. How much, guys? 10 lakh into 108 properties. 10 lakhs into 108. 1 million into 108. 108 million properties it is going to store. Imagine 108
crores.
million. Yeah, 108 million properties means how quickly the log file is going to be full, guys. How quickly it is going to be full. Right? 108 million properties it has to write to the log file. That means it will be, the log file will be full very quickly. If the log file is full, it cannot welcome new transactions. It cannot execute any of the transactions. So if log file is full, your application will be down, guys. Very sensitive. Log file and data files are very sensitive. If log file or data file is full, your application will be down. It's a downtime activity. As a DBA, you have to make sure you are creating enough breathing space for the log files and data files. Enough free space should be there. So regularly we'll do one thing in the organization as a DBA. Daily you will do this once. What is that? Space management. Space management, guys. We are going to handle 1,000 or 2,000 or 10,000 databases across the organization. At least 10 or 20 databases will get space issues daily. Any of the database data file will be full or log file will be full. You have to fix the issue. So we have a separate class how to fix the issue. If log file is full, how to fix it out. The data file is full, how to fix it. So we'll discuss in the separate class, guys. Okay. So 108 million transactions, 108 million properties it has to write to the log file, guys, which is very difficult. The log file will be full immediately, so that application will be down. We can control this by just keeping your database into the bulk logged recovery model. What will happen if you change the recovery model to bulk logged? What will happen? All the bulk operations are minimally logged. All the bulk operations are minimally logged. What is meant by minimally logged means? What is the meaning of minimally logged? Minimally logged. Logged means writing, right? Minimally means
Minimally written.
Maybe only few of the
very good. Very few details it is going to store. If you set the recovery model as bulk logged recovery model, it is not going to store 108 properties of each transaction. It will just store the batch time, like the transactions will run as per the batch, right? Batch date, and it don't store commands, guys. Okay, batch time, batch date, and all. Like very few details will be stored. Okay, when you change the recovery model to bulk logged, so it can manage the space easily. It can manage the space easily, as it is not going to store all the details. So all the backups are not possible. All the backups are not possible in the bulk logged recovery model. So if all the backups are not possible, point in time recovery is possible, guys. Can we achieve point in time recovery in the bulk logged recovery model?
Shanmukh, as you said, it is also like full recovery model.
Wait.
Then
I'll tell you. Okay. Wait, I'll tell you. Okay, so is bulk logged recovery model possible in the bulk logged recovery?
Point in time.
Is point in time recovery possible in the bulk logged recovery model?
Yes.
Tell me guys, possible or not possible?
Not possible.
Not possible. Okay, very good. Okay, so I just want to tell you one point. Of course, initially I said one point. So that you can check using some function queries, Anu. Okay, you can use some function queries. I'll check in case it is possible. Function log, one table will be there. Using that, you can track it. Okay, fine. So yes, here guys, listen carefully. Here bulk logged recovery model. I just mentioned one point. It's also like a full recovery model database. When guys, when there is no bulk operations. When there is no bulk operations, it will behave like a full recovery model database. Okay, so listen carefully. When there is no bulk operations, even though you set the database to bulk logged recovery model, if there are no bulk operations are running on the database, it will be same as full recovery model. So if it is same as full recovery model means all the backups are possible, right? If all the backups are possible means point in time recovery is possible, right? Right. So bulk log, that's why it's tricky. That's why I said it's a tricky. That's why interviewers are going to confuse you. So bulk logged recovery model is same as full recovery model. Condition if there are no bulk operations. If there are no bulk operations, bulk logged recovery model database will act as a full recovery model database. So in the full recovery model database, all the backups are possible. Point in time recovery is possible. So even though you set to bulk logged recovery model, but if there are no bulk operations, it will act as a full recovery model database. So point in time recovery is possible. If any bulk operations are there, those bulk operations are minimally logged. Okay, so minimally logged means only few details will be stored. So when few details are stored, it's not possible for all the backups, like full backup is possible, but log backup and all not possible. If not log backup is not possible, point in time recovery is not possible. So the question is, generally they will ask you how many types of recovery models are there. Then they will ask you to explain each recovery model. Then immediately they will ask you 2 to 3 questions you can expect from this topic. Then immediately they will ask whether point in time recovery is possible or not possible in the bulk log recovery model. So tell me guys, point in time recovery is not possible or possible in the bulk log recovery model?
Possible.
What is the answer?
Based on the possible, based on the, like, if it is
So the
bulk,
answer is
It depends on the situation.
yes and no. The answer is yes and no. Point in time recovery is possible if there are no bulk operations. Point in time recovery is not possible if there are any bulk operations. That should be your answer. You cannot stick to yes or no. Both yes and no. You cannot stick to only yes. You cannot stick to only no. The answer is yes, it is possible if there are no bulk operations. No, it is not possible when there are any bulk operations. Why? Because bulk operations are minimally logged. Only few details will be stored in the log file. So log backups are not possible. If log backups are not possible, I cannot achieve the point in time recovery. That is all about your bulk logged recovery model. Right? Yeah, fine. So the next is simple recovery model, guys. Simple recovery model. So again, here also log file will record, or log file will be fully logged. Here also log file will be fully logged, means here also in this recovery model also it will store all the transactions. as full recovery model. But there is an extra point. Okay, what is that extra point? At regular intervals, log file gets truncated automatically. At regular intervals, log file gets truncated automatically. In the full recovery model, log file, it won't truncate it automatically. Okay, but whereas in the simple recovery model, the log file gets truncated automatically at regular intervals. At regular intervals means when it is going to be truncated automatically, how frequently it is going to be truncated automatically. Okay, so every 1 minute, okay, there is a concept called checkpoint. Checkpoint will write the dirty pages to the disk. Dirty page is nothing but the changed page in the memory is called a dirty page. So every 1 minute, checkpoint will run on all the databases. Okay, this is called recovery interval. Every 1 minute, every 60 seconds, it is going to run the checkpoint query automatically. We have two types of checkpoints: automatic checkpoint, manual checkpoint. Automatic checkpoint will run for every minute, every 60 seconds. Every 60 seconds, it will run on every user database, on all the databases. So it will write whatever changes are there, it will write from the log file to data file. Okay. So here in the simple recovery model, every 1 minute, whenever checkpoint runs, the log file gets truncated. That means when you set the database in the simple recovery model, for every 1 minute, whatever data is there in the log file gets truncated. Truncated means what? Deleted completely. Truncated means deleted. Completely it will be deleted. So every 1 minute, the data in the log file gets truncated, guys. Then how you can take the log backups? How it is possible to take the log? Every 1 minute, if the log file is becoming empty, how you can take the log backup? Log backup is what? Log backup is nothing but taking the log backup, right? Log file backup. If any content is there, it will take the backup. What is the use of taking backup of empty folders? There is a drive, okay? In that drive, you have a folder that is completely empty. What is the use of taking backup of the empty folder? So if the log file is empty for every 1 minute, if there is no data in the log file for every 1 minute, what is the use of taking log backups, guys? So you cannot take log backups. In the simple recovery model, you cannot take log backups. Okay, if log backups are not there, point-in-time recovery is not at all possible. In full recovery model, point-in-time recovery is possible. In bulk log recovery model, point-in-time recovery is possible if there are no bulk operations. Point-in-time recovery is not possible if there are any bulk operations. In simple recovery model, point-in-time recovery is not at all possible. In full, it is fully possible. In bulk logged, partially possible. In simple recovery, not at all possible. Point-in-time recovery is not at all possible. So that's why generally we don't prefer the databases. Okay, we don't prefer to set the recovery model as a simple in the production environment. Why? Because data loss will be there. Data loss will be there. If you set the recovery model as simple, there will be a data loss. Amarendra and Gurmapa. Amarendra, can you hear me? Amarendra. If you have any questions, you can unmute, okay? Otherwise, please be in mute, okay? So I'm just keeping you in mute. If you have questions, unmute and you can ask the questions and you can be in mute, okay? Fine, Amarendra. I just kept you in mute. Fine. So in the simple recovery model, data loss will be there, guys. That is the main challenge. So non-prod servers in the non-prod environment, is it what scenarios we use simple recovery model? In the non-prod environment, we use simple recovery model, no? Where we can, if you want to control the log, see, non-prod environment is not so critical, right? So I want to control the log file. So who will work on the log file every day, every minute? Okay. So if you set it as a simple recovery model database, automatically log file growth will be in control. So in the non-prod servers, generally the recovery model will be simple, guys. In the non-prod servers, generally the recovery model will be simple. So that's how generally we are going to manage, okay, the databases recovery models and all in the organization. So how to change the recovery model? You can notice the meaning of checkpoint. Forget about it, Praveen. I'll tell you. Okay. Checkpoint, generally, as of now, the rough idea is checkpoint is a kind of, see, this is the data, right? This is untitled document. What is meant by untitled document? What is meant by untitled document?
Which is not saved.
Not
Same.
saved. But from where I can see this data, the whole data, since from the beginning, I can see the whole data. This is not saved. Still, how you are able to see the data in this notepad? How you are able to see?
Because it is open.
Huh? Because it is open, so I am able to see now. How you
It
you
is
can
in
you can tell
temporary memory.
you can tell one more answer because I have eyes, right? So I can see. Right? So that is not the answer. This will be stored in the temporary memory. The data that you can see on the screen will be stored in the temporary memory. So that's why you're able to see. So now if I want to save this, Control S, what will happen? If I save this document on the desktop, okay, class, what is going to happen now?
It is going to
Saved.
permanently store.
Permanently saved on
to
the
the disk. Okay, this is called a live example of log file. This is a kind of log file. Earlier I didn't save it, right? This is a log file. So temporarily stored here. Checkpoint, right? Control. Who is that? Lama? Lama. Right. So checkpoint. Now I did Control S, right? Control S or control here file plus save button. Okay, Control S. So checkpoint is kind of a saving the data permanently, guys. When I just use Control plus S, when I use Control plus S, it is saving to the disk permanently. So checkpoint is also kind of same thing. Whatever temporary data is there in the log file, when you run the checkpoint, whatever committed data is there in the log file, that committed data will be written to the data file. Checkpoint is a kind of Control S on the database, guys. Who will save every time? Control S, Control S, Control S. Who will save it? Automatically it has to be saved, right? So how it is going to perform? Using this checkpoint operation. Automatically checkpoint will run for every 60 seconds on every database. So whatever committed data is there, that will be saved permanently to the disk, like how it was saved now. Control S. When I click Control S, when I hit Control S, how it was saved to the disk. Okay. So in the same way, when checkpoint runs, whatever committed data is there in the log file, that will be written to the data file permanently. That is called checkpoint. Okay, checkpoint. We have two types of checkpoints. Automatic will run for every 60 seconds. Manual, you can give a command called just checkpoint. What is the command? Checkpoint, just checkpoint. If you write checkpoint, okay, you can execute this checkpoint all text. So command completed successfully. That means whatever data is there manually, you just run this checkpoint command, right? So no need to run manually on any database. So automatically it will run it for every 60 seconds. That is called checkpoint. So how to change the recovery model, guys? You know that, right? Alter database name, set recovery simple or full or bulk logged. Or you can go to the properties of the database. You can change, go to options page. You can change it to simple. Okay, you can change it to simple and you can click OK. Okay. So now the database is changed to simple, right? 1 minute, just 1 minute. Right, okay. So that's how it is going to work, guys. Checkpoint. Let me check. Fine. Right. So this one, okay. So how to change the recovery model of the database, guys? You can go to the properties. This is GUI way, and you can go to option space, and then you can choose full or bulk logged or simple recovery model. Okay. So like this, you can do. So now the database is you can also check the recovery models, all recovery models at once, guys. Okay, so you can use SP_help DB. So you can see which database, all the database recovery models. Okay, you can see the last column. Yeah, I guess you can see in this status only. Multi-user, yeah, you can see here recovery simple, full, simple, full, simple, full, simple, simple, full. Okay, so like this, you can see some of the databases are in simple, some of the databases are in full recovery model, guys. So that's how you can change the recovery model. Either you can use command alter database name, set recovery simple or full or bulk logged. So you will get a request, guys. It's not like you are going to take the decision. So based on the user's request, you can change the recovery model. There are some scenarios you have to take the decision in case the log file growth is not controlled. Okay, then you can change the recovery model to simple, and again you can change it back to a original recovery model. Right. So there is one more recovery model, guys. What is that one more recovery model? Can anyone tell me? What is the other recovery model? We have 3 recovery models, right? Full, bulk logged, simple recovery model. Apart from this, what is the other recovery model we have? Can anyone tell me? Professionals.
With no recovery model.
No recovery model.
With no,
Which one?
with no recovery.
That is different. That is recovery state. Okay. Recovery, guys, one more thing I want to add. Recovery model is different. A recovery state is different. Okay, recovery state we have with recovery, with no recovery, with standby. That is called recovery state. During the restores, I'll explain what is recovery model. We have discussed recovery model, right? Recovery states, I'll explain. Okay, so what is the other recovery model, guys? Some of you are already working. What is the 4th recovery model we have?
Is it file recovery, something like that?
Which one? Which one?
File recovery model.
No.
Okay.
Right. So the 4th recovery model that you cannot see is pseudo simple recovery model. What is that, guys? Pseudo simple recovery model. What is the pseudo simple recovery model? See, whenever you change the recovery model, you have to do one thing. What is that, guys? To apply the new recovery model, you have to take the full backup on the database. Okay, whenever you change the recovery model, to apply the new recovery model, you have to take the full backup. Okay, no, good, Banta. So whenever you change the recovery model, I changed the recovery model. Just now I changed the recovery model from full to simple, right? To apply this new recovery model, I have to take the full backup on the Azure database. Okay. So if I don't take the full backup on the Azure database, what will happen, guys? I guess I changed the recovery model 10 minutes back, right? I changed the recovery model of Azure database 10 minutes back. So this 10 minutes, I didn't take a full backup. What will happen?
Chain will break to recover the data.
Okay. So what will happen, even though you changed the recovery model from full to simple, until you took the full backup to apply the new recovery model, the database will behave like a old recovery model database. I'll explain again. I just changed the recovery model of Azure database from full to simple. Once I changed the state from full to simple, immediately I have to take the full backup. Then only the new recovery model will be applied. Okay, then only the Azure recovery model will be changed from full to simple completely. But if I don't take the full backup, after 1 hour, then I remember, okay, I changed the recovery model, right? I have to take the full backup, right? After 1 hour, I remembered, I am able to recollect, and then I took the full backup. So 1 hour, you didn't take the full backup. So what will happen in this 1 hour? How it will behave? Whether it will behave like a full recovery model or simple recovery model database. You changed the recovery model to simple. You changed the recovery model to simple, but you didn't take the full backup. So until you took the full backup, it will behave like its old recovery model. So what is the old recovery model here? Full. So even though you change the full recovery model to simple, if you don't take the full backup, it will behave like a old recovery model database. That 1 hour till you are going to take the full backup, that time, whatever time is there, the database will behave like a pseudo simple recovery model database. Pseudo means what? Pseudo. What is the meaning of pseudo? It will think. Okay, pseudo means imagine, almost imagination, right? So pseudo simple recovery model. Okay, so when you change the recovery model from one recovery model to one recovery model, you have to take the full backup. Until you took the full backup, the database will behave like a pseudo simple recovery model database. You cannot see that state. Shanmukh, can you show me? I cannot show you. This is a state. That's why pseudo. You have to imagine. Okay, pseudo simple recovery model. You cannot see that. The state should be its old recovery model, right? It will behave, even though it was changed to simple, until you took the full backup, it will behave like a full recovery model. So that state, that imagination state is called, okay, pseudo simple recovery model state. Not every interviewer will ask this, guys, but very rare interviewers will ask this. Like if you put 7 years, 8 years experience and all, you can expect these kind of questions. So pseudo simple recovery model means whenever you change the recovery model, you have to immediately take the full backup. Until you took the full backup, the database will behave like a pseudo simple recovery model database. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Okay. Right, done. So here, what you can do, guys, so I gave you an assignment, right? So what you people can do, this table, okay? So try to fill this table by today evening. And I guess I gave you assignment yesterday also. What is the state, guys? Concurrent backup, Salman Mirza.
I did not try, to be honest, I did not try.
Why, sir?
But I believe, yeah, I slept early.
Okay, fine.
No, so, but I think.
I think, yeah. You think? Which concurrent
I think we cannot take, I mean, simultaneously, if we are taking like example, full backup, I'm running on the 2 different window, so it will conflict. It will say backup already running for this database, something.
Okay, so in that table, one concurrent backup is possible. Means when you run one backup, parallel, you can run the same backup. Tell me the answer. Okay, so which concurrent backup is possible? You just check and let me know the answer. Whether full to full is possible, or full to bulk is, or full to differential is possible, or full to log is possible, or full to differential, differential to full, log to full, log to differential, log to log. Which one is possible? Check and let me know the answer. One is possible. One condition is possible. Okay. So just check and let me know the answer. I don't tell the answer. That is an assignment question. I don't tell the answer. You have to put some efforts. Right. Fine. So now let's discuss about the restoring database. Okay. Next, restoring a database. We just discussed backups, right? Backups, recovery, restores. How to restore a database? In how many ways we can restore the database? Then again, I need to take. Yes, Amrendra. Whenever you change the recovery model, you have to take the full backup. Okay. Right, fine. So we have different types of backups, right? And in the same way, we can restore the database, okay, using different types of backups. Okay. So we can restore the database using different types of backups. Like we have full backup, differential backup, log backup, file and file group, copy only full backup, right? But in the restores, again, we have full backup restore, differential backup restore, log backup restore, but there is no different meaning. If you are restoring a full backup, that is a full backup restore. If you are restoring a differential backup, that is a differential backup restore. If you are restoring a log backup, that is a log backup restore. The process is same. Taking backups is different. Full backup you have to take in a different way. Differential backup you have to choose different controls. Log backup you have to choose different options, right? Different controls. But restoring is same, guys. As the backup is already existed, if you are restoring a full backup, that is called a full backup restore. If you are restoring a differential backup, that is called a differential backup restore. If you are restoring a log backup, that is called log backup restore. Process is same. How you are restoring a full backup, in the same way you can restore the differential backup, in the same way you can restore the log backups, in the same way you can restore the tail log backup, in the same way you can restore the copy only backup. Process is same. But if you are restoring a full backup, that is full backup restore. If you are restoring a differential backup, that is a differential backup restore. Right. So let's discuss how to restore a database. Okay. I have the backup set. So what I'll do, I'll take a fresh full backup, differential backup, log backup. I'll take a fresh, because yesterday we used a lot of combinations, right? So we'll take a fresh full backups. Okay. So what is this database? Azure, right? Okay.
Let's go with the sales database, Shanmugh.
Later, sorry,
Sales database.
sales database. No problem. You can go with sales also. No issues. No problem. Right. Okay, done. Okay. So I'm going to take a backup of sales. Control A, backup, database, database name, sales to disk is equal to, okay. What is that? Sales underscore full backup underscore 10 9 20 23 dot BAK. Control C, Control V, Control V. Diff backup with differential. Okay. Backup log database name to disk is equal to log backup dot PRN. Okay.
Sir, differential backup extension is .dif or .bk.
You tell me, sir, what is the differential backup extension?
Backup database sale to this one, second one. .bak or .dif.
Yesterday you watched the recording. I mean to say you attended the class, right?
Yes, sir.
What we discussed about this? What we discussed about
Sir,
this?
I am
The same scenario
Sir, I
we
am
discussed yesterday. First of all, is extensions are mandatory in the SQL Server? Mandatory or not mandatory?
I think, sir, it's mandatory.
I gave you Katrina Kaif for example also, so that you can remember easily. You don't like Katrina Kaif?
Sir, I am not asking about file name. I am asking about
That's
like
what, sir. The
that.
extension only I said. Extension only. You can give dot Vibhuti also. Yesterday we discussed it, right? Yesterday we discussed it, right? We can give dot Vibhuti also, no issues. Whatever extension is, you can give your own extensions, your own file names, your own extensions you can give.
Okay.
Yesterday we discussed Vibhuti, the whole, see, no one will take 5 hours on backups. Yesterday morning and evening, I took 5 hours on backups. But now again, you're asking the same question. Right. So I took the full backup, guys, on sales database, differential backup on sales database, log backup on the sales database. Okay, fine. So now let's go to this location. Okay, so this PC, C drive, program files, SQL Server, instance root directory, MS SQL, backup. Okay, so this is the location, right? Sales full, sales differential, sales log backup. Okay, so you can see the size also. Full is like having 476 KB, differential size is having 850 KB and 8 KB, right? So now let's restore the database. While restoring the database, you have to, only thing is recovery states. I'll tell you the recovery state, not recovery model. Recovery states is something different. So I'm going to restore a database. So I'll show you how to restore the database in the same server. Later, while doing migration, I'll show you how to restore the database in the different server also. Both you should know, okay, how to restore a database in the same server, how to restore a database in the different server. Right, so right click on the databases, choose restore database option. Okay, now, so you can restore database directly from the database. I want to restore a database. Okay, you can do that. Guys, I have a quick question for all of you, those who are already working, try to respond. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 databases. All are online only. But when I select this databases option, I can only
Recording in progress.
why I can see only 3 databases? Why I cannot see other 2 databases? I should be able to see 5 databases, right? All are online, right? If they are offline, okay, chalo, they are offline, so I cannot see. I can restore the database. See, this is not about question to related to restores. This is not related to restores, guys. Okay, this is related to a general question. When I clicked on the drop down, here you can see all the databases, 5 databases you can see, but here in this list only 3 databases I can see. Why?
Their recovery model should be different, that's why.
I didn't selected any backup, right? Your answer is okay, appreciated, but I didn't selected any backup. So
I think for the remaining databases, backups have been not taken.
very good, super Praveen, nice. Okay, correct answer. So why? Because till now I am practicing with only these 3 databases. After creating the database, initially you have to take a full backup. If you take a full backup, then only, okay, that backup, like generally, if the database is a full, a complete database means at least once you have to take a full backup. On sales_new, I didn't take a full backup till now. On Zomato, I didn't take a full backup till now. So that's why those databases are not eligible. Okay, so that's why you cannot see those databases in this list. Okay, chalo. So you can restore the database from the existing databases directly, or you can restore a database from the existing backup files. If you want to restore a database from the existing database, you can choose this option. Generally, we don't use this option. If you want to restore a database from the device, select the, if you want to restore the database using the existing backup files, select the device option. So device means the backup file is already there. Okay. So device, select the device, click on the browse in which location your backup file is there. Point to that location, click on add. Now you can see sales, right? So which one I have to restore first, differential or log or full backup? Which one I have to restore first? Is there any
Full
order?
backup.
While taking backups, what is the order? Which backup I have to take first? Is there any order?
Full backup.
Can I directly take differential backup on a new database?
No.
Guys, please respond. Only
No.
Praveen is responding.
No,
full-
after taking full, because full is the base for all the database backup.
Correct.
So once we have full, then we can go for differential and T-log.
Correct. Okay, so the
Basic
order
file.
is like first full backup, then whatever backups you want, you can take it. In the same way, while restoring, you have to restore full backup first. So why? Because in the full backup, MDF, LDF files locations, database name, database size, files names, everything metadata will be there in the full backup file. Okay.
But
So
we
that's
can select
why
all these three, right?
at a time we can
At a
select.
one time.
That
Yeah.
also possible. I'll show you that also. Okay. So first you have to select the full backup, guys. Okay. Select the full backup. You can double click on this if you are not able to see. Sometimes you'll give some different extensions, right? So if you're not able to see in this list, choose all backups.
All files.
All files. You can choose all files so that you can see with the different extensions also. So I'm going to double click on it. Okay. Full backup and click OK. Okay. Right.
And even for sometimes if we don't have a proper permission, you can't able to see the
Correct.
file.
Correct.
Even for writing the data
Yes.
backup.
Right. So this is the source. If you see here, this is the source section, and below you can see the destination section. Can I restore the same database on the same server with the same name?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I restore, guys? Can I restore the same database on the same server with the same name? Guess it? Guess it?
Yes, we
Yes or no?
can.
It
What
will
about
be
the rest?
override.
Yes, we can with the same
Yes,
name
we
and
can
different name
restore the
also.
data.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, nice. So the answer is yes, we can, but we have to override the database. Okay, you cannot restore without overwriting. You have to override the database if you want to restore the database with the same name in the same server. I'm going to restore like this, sales underscore rest. Rest means restore. That is the shortcut of, okay, restore word. So sales underscore rest. So generally in previous versions like 2005, 2008 and all, you have to select this box. This will be by default unselected. In the older versions, this box will be by default unselected. You have to select this box, okay, for older versions. Right, fine. So make sure the restore button is selected. Now go to file space. This is very important, very important. Right, now these are my logical file names. These are my original file names. This is how it is going to be restored as. Restore as. Now tell me, if you see here, forget about this option. This I'll tell you during the restoration of database in another server. As of now, no need to select this option. Reallocate or relocate all files and folders. This I'll explain. Only difference is if you're restoring in the same server, no need to select this option. If you're restoring in the different server, you have to select this option. That is the only difference between restoring in the same SQL server and restoring in the some other SQL server. Right. Now, if you see here, original file name is this. You are restoring sales database, right? Sales database means sales database data file, sales database log file. So these are the original files in the backup file. How they are going to be restored? This is where even genuine people also will do mistakes. Sometimes here it will show you sales.mdf sales underscore log.ldf. By default, it will show you like that. Now you can see sales underscore rest, sales underscore lest underscore log.ldf. Why? Because sometimes you can see the same file names like this also. So even though you change the database name here, under files section, database name won't be changed, guys. So you will feel like, okay, I changed the database name right here. But if you don't check whether the new database name is applied or not, then your restoration will be failed, guys. Can you tell me with what reason it will be failed? With what reason it will be
Same
failed?
name.
Yeah, same location, same name. So if you don't change the file names, sales.mdf, imagine sales.mdf, sales underscore log.ldf in the same location, already the same files are existed, right? So what you have to do to avoid that? Rename the files to a new different database name. In older versions, you can see same name, even though you change the destination name, still under files section, you can see same database name. So in that case, you will get an error, database is in use. Okay, database is in use error, you will get it. What is the solution for that? Why? Because it is trying to overwrite the existing files. It is trying to overwrite the existing files. Overwrite means what? It has to delete the existing files and recreate the new files. How it can delete? If the database is online, you cannot delete the data files and log files. Okay, so that's why this is very important. Even genuine people also will do mistakes sometimes. They don't check these files. Destination files you have to check, guys. So if you are restoring in the same server, make sure, okay, the path is, if you want to restore in different location, you can just click on browse. You can give your own folders. You can give your own drive for data files. You can give your own drive for log files. This is very important section, especially this restore as column is very important, guys. Okay, if you are trying to restore in different drives, wait a minute, Salman. Okay, if you are trying to restore in a different drive, so what you can do, change the drives or change the path here. And one more thing, if you change the path, but make sure the file names is also different as per the new database name. Don't give old names. It will create some problems, guys. Only thing you have to consider under files section, make sure the restore as section, the path of the data files and the path of the log file, names of the data file and names of the log file. This is very important thing that you have to keep in mind while restoring the database. Okay, right, fine. So remaining everything is same. Next, go to options. Here you can see, if you want to restore with the same name in the same server, you can select this option, override the existing database. You can select this option, override the existing database. If you are restoring in the same server with the same name, you can choose this option. Right. So here you can, in case if you don't want to give access to anyone, if others don't want to access that restore database, you can restrict the database with the restricted user, so that only one person can access the restore database. Generally, we don't use these two options. Okay, right. This is very important. This is what I want to explain. Recovery state. If you see here, there are three options under recovery states: restore with recovery, restore with no recovery, restore with standby. Listen carefully. Very important. When we have to select with recovery, with no recovery, with standby. With standby is easy. You will feel some confusion between with recovery and with no recovery. Listen carefully. Very easy. Very easy. So let's go with the no recovery first. Okay. Restore with no recovery. Restore with no recovery. Restore with recovery. Restore with standby. Okay. When in what scenarios we have to choose no recovery? So yesterday we discussed a lot of scenarios, right? So daily full backup or weekly full backup, every Sunday full backup, every day differential backup, every 15 minutes log backup. My database is corrupted on Saturday 10 p.m. So you people answered, Shanmukh, we have to use latest full backup. We have to use Saturday's differential backup. We have to use 13 log backups. And finally, one tail log backup you have to use. Total how many? One full, one latest differential, 13 log backups plus one tail log backup. 14 plus 2, 16 backups we have to use, right? Right. So if you have multiple backups to restore, always use restore each backup with no recovery. If you have simultaneous backups, if you have successive backups to restore, all the backups you have to use, you have to restore with no recovery option. What will happen if you restore with no recovery? It will allow to restore successive backups. Successive backups means other backups, the next backups. And the database is not accessible if the database is in, if you restore the database with no recovery, the database is not accessible. Okay. If you restore the database with no recovery, the database is not accessible, guys. The database is not accessible. Why? Because it will be in restoring state. It will be in restoring state. Restoring state databases are You cannot access the restoring state database. They are not accessible. So 3 important points about restore with no recovery. When you have to choose restore with no recovery, if you have second backup or simultaneous backups or successive backups to restore, you have to first restore full backup, right? In the last example, one full, one differential, 13 log backups, one tail log backup. So you have full backup. After restoring full backup, you will restore differential backup, right? After restoring differential backup, you will restore all 13 log backups, right? After restoring 13 log backups, you will restore tail log backup. Means the next, once you restored one backup, other backups also there to restore. So if you feel that we have other backups to restore, use with no recovery, so that you can restore other backups also, the successive backups also. And one more important point, the database is in restoring state, means it is not accessible. If the database is in restoring state, the database is not accessible, guys. The database is not accessible. Okay, so that's why always you have to use if you have successive backups, you have to use restore with which option, guys? Which option you have to use?
No recovery.
With no recovery. If you have successive backups, always you have to use restore with no recovery. If that is the final backup, no other backups are there to restore, then you have to use with recovery. If you use with recovery, then the database will be online. Restore with recovery means database will be online and you cannot restore other backups. Once the database is online, you cannot restore other backups, guys. Once the database is online, you cannot restore other backups. That means recovery is completed. If it is recovering, then you can restore other backups. Once recovery is completed, that means it's completely online. If the database is online, you cannot restore any of the backups. In the restore with no recovery, you can restore successive backups, but the database is not accessible. Restore with recovery, reverse. You cannot restore other backups, but the database is accessible. Okay, whatever reverse for no recovery means you can restore other backups, but database is not accessible. Restore with recovery means you cannot restore other backups, but the database is accessible. These are 2 important points about restore with recovery and with no recovery, guys. Clear? Any questions here, please? Any questions here?
Shamak, to take any recovery option, or do we need to take database in any mode?
No, not required. Not required. You can see the thing is, generally, if it is a fresh database, there is no question of mode, right? Now I am restoring sales_rest. Is it existed?
No, it's not.
Not existed, right? So where is the question of mode here?
No, actually, I'm asking about a scenario where there is a database and somehow we want to take a back restore for the data and which is live now. So do we need to?
You want to
I mean,
restore the same database on the same database with the same name? I'm not getting your question. Why? Because if you're restoring with a new name, then there is no question of mode, right? The database is itself not existed. So what is the question of mode here? You don't change any mode, right? If it is existed, you can change the mode. Not yet existed, right? So there is the point of mode here. If you are restoring with the same name, generally in the organization will keep it in a single user mode, something like that. Okay. So if you are restoring the same database with the same name on the same server, generally people will change the database mode to single user mode. Otherwise,
okay.
this new database, no need to change any mode. Okay.
Okay. My question was not correct.
Yeah, just check it and let me know. Why? Because to avoid multi-access, people will change the recovery mode. I mean, not recovery mode, state of the database to single user mode. Okay. So while restoring, some of the organization, they will follow the practice. Right. So is it clear, guys, the difference between with recovery and with no recovery? If it is clear, I have to restore one full backup, one differential backup, 13 log backups, and one tail log backup. So tell me guys, full backup, which recovery state I have to use?
With no recovery.
With recovery or with no recovery?
No
With
recovery.
no recovery.
With no recovery. Why? Because I have differential backup to restore. Differential backup with recovery or with no recovery?
No recovery.
Till 13 log backup, no recovery, then last
Right.
with recovery.
One differential backup with no recovery, right? So after that, I have to restore log backups, right? 13 log backups. So all the, see, for example, if there is no tail log backup, only 13 log backups are there, then how many log
Then
backups will
last
restore with no recovery? How many log backups will restore with
12,
recovery?
12 log backup will be restored with no recovery and last one with recovery.
Guys, it's very clear. Only the last backup you have to use with recovery. Remaining all are with no recovery only. Why? Because the last backup means there are no other backups to restore, right? That is the final backup, right? So you can use with recovery. So here, the last backup is tail log backup. So all these 13 log backups you can use with no recovery. And finally, this is tail log backup, and you can use this with a recovery. Once you use this option with recovery, then the recovery process will complete and the database will come to online. Once it's online, by mistake, 13 log backups, out of 13 log backups, by mistake, you just restored the data, first log backup with recovery. By mistake, after differential, by mistake, first log backup you restored with recovery. What about other 12 log backups and one tail log backup, guys? Can I restore? Can I restore? Guess it. By mistake, the first log backup I restored with recovery. Instead of no recovery, I just missed the no. So the first log backup restored with recovery. So now I have still 12 pending log backups, one tail log backup. Can I restore? Can I make use of those log backups?
You can't.
That is not possible. Once the database is online, you cannot. If you still want, delete the database, restore it again from the beginning. Again, full backup, differential backup, again all the log backups, and then final tail log backup. Clear? Is it clear, guys? When we will use with recovery, when we will use with no recovery? Okay. For example, final tail log backup also I restored with no recovery. Then by mistake, instead of with recovery, I just followed the same practice. I did not edit it. So I just run with no recovery. The final tail log backup also I restored with no recovery. Then what is the problem, guys?
It will not be in open state, but we can recover it. I mean, recover with a restored database with recovery. We just
Very
give
good.
the syntax, it will.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay. See, even if you do like this, nothing, no problem at all. Very happy. Shanmukh, tell me one shortcut. Who will remember with recovery, with no recovery? No, my brain cannot catch that. Give me one shortcut. Always restore with no recovery. Any backup. The safest method is restore with no recovery. Sorry, restore with no recovery. Finally, you can run one query. Restore database name with recovery. That's it. At least if you can't remember when to use with recovery, when to use with no recovery, always go with no recovery. The safest method is with no recovery. Finally, just run this query. That's it. Just run this query. Restore database means, Arey Babu, restores are completed. Just chalo, let's come online. So if you run this command, then the database will come online, so that you cannot restore other backup. In case if still any backups are missing, you cannot restore. Why? Because once the database is online, you cannot restore, right? So that's how it is going to work.
So one silly question: one database is online, we cannot apply the same full differential and log again.
I'm not getting your question, Salman.
Once we have recovered the database with all the latest backups, right? Till log, and database is open state online.
Open state, correct.
Yeah, but if we missed any backup, okay, so we cannot apply with with full differentiation and all the log backup. We need to delete the database.
That's what I said, right? That is not possible. See, already very simple thing, Salman. Already database is there. You want to restore with the same name. How you can restore it? If already database is there, you want to restore it, which option you will select?
No, we will not give the different name. We can give the same name, right?
That's what
While
I'm saying,
restoring.
Salman. Same name, already database is there. Sales _ rest is already there. I miss a tail log backup to restore. Now I have to restore it again from the beginning. So which option you have to select? While restoring full backup, which option you will select?
In such condition, we can delete that like database, and after that we can just restore again and again.
See, actually no need to delete manually, but we have an option to select. Which option to select? Which option we have to select while restoring with the same name? Forget about this scenario.
Overwrite.
Database is already there. You want to restore with the same name. Which option you have to select?
Overwrite.
Overwrite. It is going to delete and it will restore with the new name, right? Salman, are you getting?
Correct.
No need to delete manually.
Overwrite is the option.
Overwrite, automatically it will delete and it will recreate with the new backup set. Okay. Right. So take the break, guys. Come back after 15 minutes. We'll discuss how to restore a full differential and log backup. Okay. So and then we'll try to complete the session by we'll try to complete the backups and restores too in this session itself. Okay. So take a break, come back after 15 minutes. I'll be in mute, guys. Right, okay. So you're able to see my screen, right? So here I have full backup, I have differential backup, I have log backup of sales database. So I'm restoring the first full backup. So which option I have to choose here? Restore with recovery, restore with no recovery. Tell me, guys. We have full differential and log. I'm restoring full backup. So which one we have to choose? With recovery or with no recovery?
No recovery.
No recovery. Very good. Okay. Done. So what is meant by restore with standby? What is restore with standby? The combination of with recovery and with no recovery is called restore with standby. Okay. Combination of both with recovery and with no recovery. Combination of with recovery and with no recovery is called with standby. So with recovery, the database will be online and you can execute all the queries. But you cannot restore the database with recovery. With no recovery, database is not accessible, but you can restore the simultaneous backups. With standby, you can do both. Okay. What you can do? Database is accessible for read-only operations. For select queries, read-only means select queries, right? And you can restore successive backups. Okay, you can restore successive backups. You can restore successive backups. Both possible in the standby mode, but only select queries. You can run select queries. If you restore a database with a standby, you can restore the successive backups. You can also access the database for select queries. I'll show you that also. Okay. Chalo. So let's restore the database with no recovery. So I'm going to choose with no recovery here. I'm going to uncheck this tail log backup. So you can either script out this action or you can just click OK. So now the database, see here, the database restore operation progress you can see here. Backup progress you can see here. Restore progress you can see here. How much restore has been processed you can see here. Okay. So it was restored successfully. See here. I just restored with no recovery, right? I said database is not accessible, right? See here, database is in restoring state. So if you are trying to expand this, you will get the error. The database is not accessible because it is in the middle of the restore. So now I am going to restore the differential backup. Right click on this, tasks, restore a database. So from device, browse, add, select the differential backup, double click on this, click OK. Make sure this box is selected, restore button. Remaining only while restoring full backup, you have to worry about the files. Okay, once you restore the full backup, other backups, no need to worry about the files, guys. Why? Because it's already created. Options, restore with no recovery. Why? Because I have log backup to restore. Okay, so uncheck this and you can click OK. Now differential backup is also successfully restored. You can see database sales rest restored successfully. So finally, log backup. Right click, tasks, restore the transaction log. Here, slightly the controls will be different. Okay, slightly it will be changed. The layout, the interface will be different slightly. From device, browse, add, select the log backup, double click on this, click OK. See here, it was unchecked right by default. Select the restore button. Okay, right. Options. Now you can see, earlier you can see in the drop down. Now you can see with here like this recovery state. You can see with recovery, with no recovery, with standby. Guys, this is the final backup to restore. Which option I have to choose?
First one.
Restore with recovery.
Yeah. Okay. So can I restore with no recovery?
Yes.
That also possible. Okay. I have to run extra query. So I'm going to restore with recovery. So once the database is restored with recovery, see here, database came to online, and you can see you are able to expand the databases also. Just refresh it once and just expand. You can see all other objects. Okay. So this is how you can restore the database, guys. If you have multiple backups, use with no recovery. If that is the final backup, use with recovery. Sometimes users will ask you, hey, please restore with a standby mode, so that they want to restore multiple backups and they want to run a select queries also. In that scenario, we'll choose a standby mode, guys. Okay. So now let me show you how to restore all backups at a time. This is how to restore one by one. I'm going to restore all backups at a time. Right click, restore database, device, browse, add, select these three files. Okay. You can use your cursor, just double click on outside, just drag it. The files will be selected, or use your control button. Select this backup, first full backup, right? Select this button, select this full backup, then press your control button. Keep pressing your control button, hold your control button, select differential backup, select log backup also. Multiple backups you can select at a time like this. Click OK. Click OK. Sales destination database is sales underscore. What is the date today? 10/09. Okay, 10th September, right? Right. So you can see all the three backups you can see here. Options. Again, make sure this is the first time you're restoring, right? A fresh database you're restoring, right? So make sure the restore as section. So you can see the new database name here. Then no issues. It's fine. Options. Now tell me, guys, which option I have to choose, with recovery or with no recovery?
Both are possible.
With recovery.
Generally, what is the best method, best option? Both are possible.
With recovery. With recovery.
No recovery, sir.
With no recovery. Some of them are saying with no recovery.
With recovery, because there is no other.
With recovery. Very
Yes.
good. Okay. So there are no other backups. So all the backups I'm restoring at a time. So you can choose with recovery. You can still choose with no recovery, but the best option is with recovery. If you choose with no recovery, again you have to run an extra query. Uncheck this, and then you can see here, check the status here. You can see 3 times 100%. Okay, just quickly you can see it will be changed quickly. See, 3 times. First time, second time, third time. That's it. Database sales 10/09 restored successfully, and you can see the database has been created. Okay, so with the 10/09, 10th September, so you're able to access. I'll show you one more. Okay, so finally, if you restore with no recovery, all the backups you restored with no recovery, what we have to do? By mistake, you restored all the backups with no recovery. Device, browse, add, select all the backups. Okay. Now, Shanmukh, as all the backups are in the same location, so you are able to select multiple backups at a time. Shanmukh, I have 3 different backups in 3 different drives. My full backup is in one drive. My differential backup is in another drive. My log backup is in another drive. In that case, can we select all the backups at a time? Is it possible?
Yes.
How?
If we click OK, we can change the path in separate.
You click OK. Generally, if you click on add button, you can see right now, if you select this one, now you want to change the path. You selected this one. Now you want to change the path. If you go and change the path, what will happen? This file will be unselected, right? Again.
No. In the next window, I think so.
Multiple time we need to click the add button
Very
for the
good.
different.
Every time, 3 times you have to click the add button. Okay. If one file is in D drive, click on add button, go to D drive, add the full backup. If differential backup is in E drive, again click on add button. Don't click OK now. Okay. Again, second time click on add button, go to E drive, again select the second backup file. F drive, go to F drive, select the log backup, and then you can click OK. Okay. Finally, it will be like this. So even though they are in different drives also, you can still select multiple backups at a time. So restore underscore sales underscore demo. Okay. So I'm just giving name called sales underscore demo. Files, make sure sales underscore demo database is created. Yeah, sales underscore demo.mdf, sales underscore demo underscore log.ldf, and restore with no recovery I'm selecting. Okay, and click OK. So now it was successfully restored, but the database is not accessible. Okay, you can see here, right? Database is still in restoring state only, right? So what we can do for this? Open new query, or else you can use the same query window. Okay, you cannot access this. If you are trying to access, you'll get the error. Okay, right. Chalo. What you can do now? Sorry, restore. What is the database? Restore the database. What is the database name? Sales underscore demo with recovery. Okay, done. Run this query. Alt X. Done. Restored successfully processed. Just now refresh this. Right? Now, where is that? Yeah, restore demo is online. Now you're able to expand. Okay, so in this way, still if you run restore with no recovery, you can fix it by running this final query. Shanmukh, I cannot remember with recovery with no recovery. So the shortcut is always restore with no recovery. Finally, run this query. Restore with standby. How to restore a database with standby? Same. Restore a database from device, browse, add, select the backups. Okay, it was created. Full differential and log backup. Sorry. Okay. And sales underscore standby, right? We'll do one thing. Okay, sales underscore std. I'll give the name as standby. Okay, std. I'll give files. Double click here. Go and check whether std is reflecting or not. Options. I'm going to restore with the standby. Okay, and I'll just click OK. Now you can see 100%, 100%, 100% successfully restored. So if you restore a database with the standby, you can see a database state like this. Okay, standby, which is read only. You can just run select queries, read only. It is clearly showing read only. You cannot run any alter queries. You can just run a select query in case you want to read the data from any of the tables in this database. You can just run a select query on this standby database.
Can we change the state from standby to
We can
normal?
change it.
Yeah.
We can change it. Okay, alter database name, set multi-user, alter database name is sales underscore std, set multi underscore user. Okay, done. It is not changing. You can change it. Set read only, read write, I guess. Read underscore right. Warm standby database is read only. Alter database statement failed. Okay, we cannot change. Maybe while restoring we cannot change, but generally we can put any database to standby state, and we can put any database to read write also, as it is restored directly. So that's why it is not allowing. Let me check with the Zomato. Alter database. Control C, Control V. Zomato. Set read underscore only. Okay, so now if you see Zomato, read only, right? It's a standby. Standby we cannot change. Okay, as you registered with a standby, that is not possible to bring online. So I'm again, see now this is read only, right? Now again, if I execute, so it became again online. Okay, so like this you can change, but standby I guess we cannot change. Yeah.
So can't we
Standby
restore on
and
top
read
of
only
that?
both are different.
Yeah, read only. Standby. I have to check once why we cannot change. Any option is there, Salman? Any idea?
So can we restore a standby database again, and we can select and we can try
That we can do, man.
overwrite.
Oh, that what is there in that? That we can do. That we can do. That's not the option. Standby. Yeah, standby. It's not allowing me. It's not allowing to bring it multi-user mode. Okay, so we have to check this one. I'll check and I'll update you on this. Okay?
Is it
But
due to
generally, you can put any database read-only mode and you can put any database to read-write mode.
Shamukh, is it due to recovery is not completed? That's why restore is not completed. That's why it is in read-only mode.
Maybe let's try this one then. Okay, sales underscore std. Very good. Yeah, you are correct. Okay, done. A good point. Okay, so that is all about the restores, guys. Okay, so in the next class, migration class, not next class is not migration, automation. Okay, next class is automation class. I'm not going to start it as it is a new topic, so we'll start freshly. So next class is an automation class. After automation, we'll start upgradation and migration. So in the migration, I'll show you how to restore the database in a different servers. Okay, but generally, okay, while restoring, you have to remember one thing. Okay, you have to remember two things. People will do the mistakes. Very commonly, people will do the mistakes while restoring the database. What are those two things you have to remember? Can anyone guess? What are those two things you have to remember? Very important.
And
On which
name.
database you are going to restore?
Okay, close to the answer.
MDF.
Sorry?
Name of MDF and DF change or not.
The database and the path.
Okay, next. These are small things only. I'm expecting a big thing. Someone is talking, but his voice is breaking. So guess, guys. Guess, Salman Mirza. Very important.
Yes, sir.
Guess it.
Means while restoring, what we need to take
What
care?
precautions?
I mean,
yeah. Before restoring, we have to take two precautions. What are those two precautions?
We just need to check the spaces what
Very
we have.
good. Very good. One. Next. Very good. Space is very important. Whether you have enough free space is there or not. Imagine. See, you cannot guess. For example, the database backup size can be 20 GB. It's a compressed backup, right? 99% everyone will go with the compressed backups only. So you cannot guess it. Okay, 20 GB backup file, right? So if I restore again, I'll get 20 GB database. So 20 GB free space is enough to restore. No, you cannot guess it. If the backup file is 20 GB, database can be 100 GB. Right? You should have enough free space. 100 GB free space should be there, at least worst case. 100 GB free space should be there. That is one important thing that you have to cross check. Now, the question is, if there is no enough free space, the backup will be failed, right? This we have already discussed yesterday. If we don't have enough free space, is the restore going to be initiated or restore will be failed in the middle?
Failed.
It will initiate but fail in middle.
When it will be failed, sir? Before or after initialization?
After
Before.
initialization.
Before installation.
Okay. Guess, Salman. Okay, so the second thing that you have to be very careful while restoring the
Recovery
database.
model.
Not exactly. Version. Okay, version you have to be very careful. Why version? Can anyone tell me?
Okay, compatibility means higher to lower or lower to higher.
Correct. I can only restore lower to higher. Okay, I can only restore same version to same version or same version to higher version. If my SQL Server database belongs to 2012, I can restore that database in any other SQL Server 2012 or higher than 2012, like 2014, 2016, 2017, 2019, 2022. But if my source is 2012 and my destination is 2008, can I restore the database?
No.
Source is higher version, destination is lower version.
Not possible.
Not possible, not at all possible. Higher to lower, not at all possible, guys. Okay, you
We
cannot
can, but
restore.
there is a different way. I mean, with the
Changing
schema
the
and data,
compatibility.
if the data,
That is
yeah,
not a database restore. Okay, so that you can do using a import export method and all. Okay, but the direct restore is
correct,
not possible. Okay, direct
correct.
restore of the database, if the version higher to lower, if you are restoring means, it's not going to allow, guys. Okay, so lower to higher, lower to same version to same version, you can restore the database. 2019 to 2019 or 2022 you can restore, but 2019 to 2017 also you cannot restore. Even one version less also you cannot restore. So these two things are very important, guys. These two things are very important. Okay,
And
so
addition changes will not impact, right? If my
addition,
current
yeah,
was
no problem.
yeah,
Addition same.
enterprise
If
or developer,
yeah, developer to enterprise I can restore. Developer to standard I can restore. Standard to production enterprise I can restore. Enterprise
correct.
to standard also I can restore. But lower to higher version is possible. Higher to lower version is not at all possible while restoring the database. These two things you have to be very careful. Make sure you have enough. Why? Because after starting the restoration, so if there is no free space, again it will be a difficult task. So in case if customer is asking a database refresh activity during the weekends, a customer is asking a database refresh activities during the weekends. So weekends means a limited resources will be available. So you didn't check the free space in the drives. Unfortunately, there is no free space. You just checked it during the process on Saturday. Saturday, no one will be available. Even though if they are available from storage team, Windows team, they are very limited. They are particularly, okay, complete their own tasks, weekend tasks. So you will get very difficult situation so that you cannot extend the drive during the weekends. You have to take proper approvals before itself. So a lot of headaches will be there. So in case if you are doing any refresh activity means what? Taking backup of production server and restoring it into the non-prod servers, or taking backup of one database and restoring it into the non-prod server. That is called
And
refresh
how much
activity.
how we can calculate the exact space
That is
required?
that is not possible to calculate. I guess there is a custom query.
No,
I
if we check like space used, generally if we are taking a backup with compress, then definitely it will compress the size, and based on the backup file size, we cannot calculate, right?
that's
Means
what we cannot
yeah,
calculate. That we can achieve like this. Okay, if it is a fresh backup and all, source will be there, right? Go to source and check it.
but again, if we are taking suppose 1 TB database size is there, but the database file size is not being used, right? For any reason, for any transaction, happened recently, log file has been increased, but after shrink, it will
See,
decrease.
this is very common sense. You can just check it. Okay, I'm not saying like you can guess it actually. Okay, so if it is like increased or decreased, so you can actually guess it. Okay, so immediately, that's what I said. If it is a fresh backup means what? You took immediately at this moment you took, you can guess it. But 1 week back old backup or 1 day old backup, there will be a slight difference. 99% guess it, Salman. For one day, how big, how much data you can be, like you can insert in a day. Generally, you can guess it, right? Roughly, you can guess it. In case there are some scenarios, overnight also a lot of data will come, but at least you can guess the things. Okay, this is like yesterday, the source is 100 GB. Okay, so the backup file is 25 GB. So in that way, you can guess it. But I'm not sure exactly by using the backup file size, we can get the database size. I'm not sure. Might be there is a custom script for that. So we can just guess it. Okay.
No, I was going through one article.
Okay.
It was saying just look the database size, not the backup size. You cannot depend on the backup size. So what are the space is currently being used, based on that you can calculate.
That's we just discussed, right? Space used. That's what we just discussed. But your question is what in case if any huge transactions are there, right?
Yeah, in that case we can have some, safer side. We can have some extra space.
Correct. Let me check whether we have a size here. Size is 31622112.
I think it's a backup size.
Yeah, backup size, huh?
Yes. And if you go to the database size, actual SP space used, some query was there, right? So what are the data file size actual it will take?
Right. Sales means generally what is the database size? Sales database size. Check it. This is like 9 MB. The space available is 5 MB. I have a quick question for all of you. So my database size is 100 GB. A database size means data file size and log file size, right? Right? So out of 100 GB, 60 GB free space is there. Okay? 60 GB free space is there. So when I take the backup of 100 GB database, so is it going to take that 60 GB also? Out of 100 GB, 60 GB is free. Log file is there. Log file size is 60 GB. But empty space available in the log file is 60 GB. Whole space is available in the log file. But when you take the full backup of the database, of course, it will be compressed, I agree. But it will be compressed of 100 GB file or it will be compressed of 40 GB file. That is my question. Just check it and let me know the answer. Okay, no worries. So I'll check this, Salman. Okay, the backup size, using backup size, how we can get the database size. Okay, I'll check and update you on that.
I think one Anup has mentioned something, restore file list only from this.
Restore file list only that we can do. Okay, this query will have to show the database size, backup size. Yeah. That will help us. The destination confirm that the path of user. Okay, take backup, full backup. You don't know. So what is your question, Gurmapa? Sorry, I missed your question. What is that? We're still there. Sometimes I'll disable the controls, short controls. Okay, so that's why I cannot see messages. Now I'm just checking all the messages. What is your question with recording? You don't have to click overwrite. You're not overwriting. Can you ask your question, Gurmapa? I'm not getting your question, please. You can unmute and you can ask me quickly. Gurmapa, can you hear me? I'm sorry if I wrongly spelled your name. Okay, so what is your question? While restoring, you do not choose overwrite. So in what scenario will choose overwrite, Gurmapa? In what scenario will generally choose overwrite? If you are restoring the same database with the same name, then only we'll choose overwrite. Otherwise, no need to choose overwrite. So did I restore any database with overwrite?
No, not yet, I think.
Yeah.
You did
So
not restore with overwrite.
Let me show you that as well. In case if you are still confusing, I can do that. Okay. So let me bring this.
Yeah, we can do the.
Yeah, let me bring the sales database online. Restore database name with recovery. Yeah. and databases refresh. Right. So I'm going to restore. So when it was created, let me show you. Before that, when it was created, 8/20. Okay, it was created in the August. So 20th August it was created. I'm going to restore the database, or let me restore like this. Restore database from device, browse, add. So do we have any queries to see when the database is lost, restored? I'm selecting all the backups. Okay. Very quick. Okay. Okay. I'm not changing the database now. I'm going to use the same database. So if we have if you are restoring the same database in the same server with the same name, then overwrite will come into the picture. Files also I'm not changing. The same file sizes, the same file names should be there. Okay. So the files, the names will be sales.mdf. Destination source is also sales.mdf. Okay. Destination is also sales.mdf. Okay. Sales.mdf, sales_log.ldf. Options, restore with overwrite with replace. Okay. Uncheck and let me click OK. So now tell me guys, can I restore this database? Can I
Yes,
restore this
you
database?
can.
Pakka?
Yes.
Salman?
Yes.
Pakka, sure.
Yes.
Or
It
before
is
doing
going
that,
to override.
or before
Yeah,
doing that, do
before
I need to do anything?
you
Okay, close connection,
close the
existing
connection
connection.
Very
for
good.
safer side. You
Very
can
good.
check the close existing connection.
Very good. Okay, so that's we have to check. That's why I said, right? So people, what they are going to do, will keep the database offline sometimes. Okay, so here you can see whether database is open or not. So in this database name, if the database is not open, you can restore it. Okay, if the database is open, you will get an error. Okay, so let me open a connection with this database. Okay, let me show you that error as well. I'm not going to execute anything. Okay, I'm just going to run this restore command now. Okay, let me show you that error, what error you will get it. Right. Okay, you can see the error here. Click here. So Microsoft access denied. Exclusive access could not be obtained because the database is in use. The database is open. It is trying to overwrite. Overwrite means it is trying to delete sales.mdf, sales_log.ldf files. As the connection is opened from this database, so it will throw you the error. Okay, so what is the solution? Kill the connection. Okay, 58, right? Session is 58, right? So I'm going to kill it. Kill 58. So you will get this error, guys. Generally, while doing restore in the organization, okay, there is why, because the database refresh activities means the same database will be already existed. Last week you restored the database. Next week also customer is asking. So again you have to restore the database with the same name in the same server. So database will be in use. Okay. So if the database is in use, then what will happen? Already killed, right? So that's why only user process can be killed. So already killed it. So now what you can do, okay, so now you can try. It's already showing it was disabled, right? So even script out is also disabled. Again, let's try to restore, guys. Okay, restore database from device, browse, add. So to avoid these situations, generally in the organization, they are going to bring the database offline before restoring. So if you bring the database offline, there will be no active connections, right? So that's why sometimes in the restore script, you can see a script, alter database name, set offline with rollback immediate script. You can see so that the database will be offline, okay, before restoring, and then you can restore the database, guys. So that's why someone started, Salman Mirza, you started the camera. Okay, again you started the camera. Okay, just click OK. Right, done. Okay, it was successfully restored. Sales database. Just refresh it, and if you see here, sales properties. So it is still showing date created is still showing 8/20, guys. Okay, last backup. This is the option where you can see when you took the last backup. Okay, last full backup. lost log backup. It's a quick option where you can see when you took the lost backup, lost full and lost log backup. But the database is successfully restored, that's for sure. But the thing is, I want to see when the database is restored. From where I can see? Very quick question. Do we have any option to see that?
From the MSDB, I mean backup tables,
Backup tables, you
and
can see the backups, but restores.
restore history.
Yeah,
There is
very good.
a
Okay.
table.
So we have 5
And also
backup
from the
tables.
database also report we can see.
Reports we can do that, yeah. See, in the MSDB tables, you can see 5 backup tables, 3 restore tables. Okay, these 3 or 5 backup tables will help you when the backup taken, what kind of backup taken, what is the size of the backup, to which
Media
location,
set.
to which location. So these 5 tables will help you. In the same way, we have 3 tables related to the restore
Restore
file,
history.
restore file group, and restore file history. So you can use this also. Select top 1000 rows. When the database has been restored, what is the last database has been restored? You can see using this. See, sales 925. 925. Just now we restored 925. Okay, so in this way, see 925, you can see sales 3 entries. Sales full backup, database backup. Sales differential backup also restored. Sales log backup also restored. So that's why 3 sales you can see here. Full incremental and log backup. So this is the way to check when the database has been lost, restored. Okay. So that's it, guys. Backups and restores. So and one more important update. I guess people are there, right? And let me check any messages are there. Yeah. So guys, I'm just moving back to yes and relocate option as well. Yes. Relocate option I will show you during migration concept, Gorimappa. Right. So there is an important update, guys. Last week I came to my hometown, right? So today I'm going back to the Bangalore. Okay. So today evening I will be in the bus. So it will take 15 hours journey. Okay. So I cannot take class today evening. So again we'll meet on Saturday, next Saturday morning. If everyone is okay, next Friday evening I'll take the class. If everyone is okay. Okay, why? Because next week I'll take 5 classes. I'm planning to take 5 classes. If all are okay, then only I'll take. If you have any concerns, let me know so that we can directly take class on Saturday.
Friday not possible, Shyam.
That's fine. Then everyone has to agree. So if no one is like, if people are having some challenges, I'm not going to take class on Friday. So we'll meet again on Saturday morning, 7 a.m. IST. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. And
are you going to?
I'm already sharing the recordings with you guys. Please go to your Google Drive, click on shared with me. Whatever classes till yesterday, not yesterday, till last week I have already shared. So these 3 classes, yesterday morning, yesterday evening, today's morning. So this class I'll share either by today or max to max tomorrow I'll share. Okay. Yep. Friday I'll travel. Okay, Digvesh, no problem. We will be in bank on Friday. Okay, Virdameya. Yeah. Thank you, guys. There is no class on Friday. Again, we'll meet on Saturday morning, 7 a.m. IST. So it will be Friday evening for US people. Okay, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. Enjoy the weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.